As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson.
The jury returns with a shocking verdict of not guilty in the Casey Anthony murder trial. We are live in Orlando and the Bay Area with reaction on the case that has gripped the nation. Good evening, everyone. I'm Linda Hurtado.
And I'm Jamison Euler. Jurors reached their not guilty verdict after less than 11 hours of deliberation over 2 days.
Anthony, who hugged her lawyers after the verdict was read, was charged with first-degree murder in the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, which could have brought the death penalty if she'd been convicted.
And in case you missed it, here is part of that verdict and Casey's reaction.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, verdict as to count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson.
Again, relief for Anthony after that verdict. The jury, though, did convict Casey Anthony on 4 misdemeanor counts of lying to law enforcement. We want to begin our team coverage tonight in Orlando with Carson Chambers, who has reaction to this stunning not guilty verdict. Carson.
Well, Jamison, I think the Orange County State Attorney spoke for so many people when he said they were disappointed and surprised with this not guilty verdict. He says dry bones cases are very difficult to prove, and their mountain of evidence did not cast a shadow over reasonable doubt. We watched Casey Anthony breathe heavily before the verdict was read aloud. You could hear a pin drop in the courtroom as a clerk delivered the jury's decision.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, verdict as to count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
With that, 12 jurors from Pinellas County handed 25-year-old Casey Marie Anthony her freedom, convicting her only on 4 misdemeanor charges of lying to investigators. There were tears, there were hugs, and a group embrace. And then there were words from her lead defense attorney, Jose Baez.
Casey did not murder Kaylee.
Baez says now his client will work to get her life back together, and he hopes the not guilty verdict will draw attention to a bigger issue.
We all need to stop and look and think twice about a country that decides to kill its own citizens.
Then it was the state attorney's turn, but after 33 days of testimony, 10 hours and 44 minutes of deliberations, lead counsel Jeff Ashton and Linda Drain Burdick would not talk to the media. The sheriff stood in their stead.
As the verdict has been rendered, we ask our community to respect the decision the jury and court have made today.
Kaylee Marie Anthony died 3 years ago. Today, 12 Tampa Bay jurors decided unanimously her mother will live a free woman. And the sheriff addressed his community. He said in cases like this, very high-profile trials, there has been a history of civil disobedience. When a verdict like this comes down, he says he hopes he does not see that in Orlando tonight. We're live in Orlando. I'm Carson Chambers, ABC Action News.
Thank you, Carson. Well, we do know that the courthouse has been a circus, with trial watchers waiting inside and out for this verdict. Our Allison Morrow spoke with some of those spectators and continues our team coverage.
A couple hours after the verdict was read, and there is still a very large crowd here outside the Orange County Courthouse. When that verdict was read earlier today, emotion ran very high. We were right there in the middle of it all. Here is some of what we saw.
Not guilty of felony murder.
This is unbelievable. I think this is so unfair. No way.
No, why are they saving her life for?
Start moving people up the sidewalk. Let's go.
Not guilty of second degree. It's huge. There was a 2-year-old child that was killed, and you trying to say she's innocent? Like, she's just gonna walk away?
今7つの罪、上から言われていってる最中です。
Frustration, thinking and hoping all along that our justice system will prevail.
Poor Kaylee suffered here and never got justice.
I'm saying they've forgotten her. I mean, that's unbelievable.
One man that we spoke to summed up public opinion that we heard here all afternoon by saying, "This is a sad day for Orlando." In Orlando, Allison Morrow, ABC Action News.
A memorial for little Kaylee has been growing at the place where her body was found. Ryan Raich joins us live from Orlando with more on this. Good evening, Ryan.
Yeah, all throughout this trial, people have been stopping by this site where Kaylee's remains were found. It is literally a swamp, rampant with mosquitoes, but it hasn't stopped people from paying the respects. Just a few steps off this road and into the woods is the very site where the remains of young Kaylee Anthony were found. These days it's marked with all the things you would find in a child's room, a touching memorial constructed by complete strangers.
We love kids, and it's just, you know, such a life so young, ending up so soon. It's sad. It's sad.
Linda Rosa came by with her family today to drop off a teddy bear and pay her respects. Like many who dropped by, Rosa was overcome by the sight.
It's crazy. It's still swamp out here, you know? There's trash out here. There's not supposed to be a body here.
Farewell wishes and child's toys are about as common in this swamp as the tears from those out here saying a prayer.
Overwhelming. It's just overwhelming that, you know, that that precious baby could be there at any point. You know, sorry. Yeah, it's just overwhelming.
Melissa Birch is here on vacation from West Virginia. She made this memorial her final stop because she says she couldn't leave without saying goodbye. Although many here are seeking justice, the next best thing is for young Kaylee to rest in peace.
Nothing should happen to a child that age. I mean, it's tragic that it happened, you know.
A tragedy that even complete strangers may never fully understand.
We've been following this since the beginning, and it's sad that, you know, supposedly she drowned in the pool, and then she ended up here in a swamp. There's no words for it.
Of course, there is a big law enforcement presence at the neighborhood and the site. The Anthony household is actually less than a half a mile away, and that too is a big draw for spectators. It's a story I'm working on for 6 o'clock. For now, live in Orlando, Ryan Raich, ABC Action News.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Dave Reynolds has been getting reaction here in the Bay Area and joins us from Pinellas County, where this jury was selected. Dave, what can you tell us about the local reaction?
Well, it's been kind of interesting, you know, Linda. It's really been a hot-button issue. Obviously, this trial has been for quite some time, and once the verdict was announced today, it was pretty easy to find people to offer up their comments, thoughts, and observations about Casey Anthony.
I was just appalled, really. I think it's crazy. I don't understand how you can go 32 days or 31 days without your child, you know, without your child being with you and not say anything, and just be so evident that she was out having a great time and not get convicted of this.
Sometimes people get off of things that they're not supposed to get off of, but in this case, you know, the trial went the distance, and, you know, the verdict came as it is. I know a lot of people are upset, but it's everyday life, and we have to deal with it and just move on, and hopefully nobody sees her and tries to cause any harm.
I can't believe it. I'm shocked. I thought if nothing else she would at least get found guilty on the manslaughter charges, but I couldn't believe it.
I'm completely surprised. This little girl, you know, she deserves justice, and this isn't justice. This mom doesn't deserve to be away, like, you know, let out, you know. She needs to stay behind bars or death, point blank.
Now, obviously, there's some very strong emotions being shown by all of those people, and originally we thought the Pinellas County jury would be brought back here to the Pinellas County Criminal Justice Center, but a source just told me just seconds ago, literally, that no jurors are going to be brought back here tonight. Some of them are actually being chauffeured to their homes, directly to their homes, and others are going to stay in Orange County. Reporting live from Pinellas County, Dave Reynolds, ABC Action News.